Hey guys, so I just wanted to go over the first part of section 2.5. There seemed to be about 4 problems that you guys had difficulty with, and they were the last 4 problems. So let's go ahead and go through those quickly. The first problem, number 7, was x to the 4th minus 5x squared minus 36 equals 0. Okay. Guys, you can pretend this is a 2, that the 4 is a 2, the 2 is a 1, and this is still a 0. It's still a binomial that can be easily factored. You just have to factor it with x squared as your leading term. So you have x squared and x squared. Now what multiplies to get negative 36 and adds to get negative 5? Well, 9 times 4 sounds like a good deal to me. So I've got a 9 and a 4. This should be a minus 9, and this should be a plus 4, and that equals 0. So then you end up with x squared minus 9 equals 0. X squared plus 4 equal to 0. Well, this is pretty straightforward. X squared now equals 9. X equals plus or minus 3. So there's 2 of your answers. Remember, the degree of 4 tells you how many answers there should be. Whether they be real or imaginary is for you to figure out. This one becomes x squared equals negative 4. And then x equals plus or minus the square root of negative 4. Well, this is going to be imaginary because you know you can't take the square root of a negative, so we're going to pull out the I. So we got plus or minus I times the square root of 4. Well, that's just 2, so this other answer is plus or minus 2i. So your 4 answers are plus or minus 3 and plus or minus 2i. I think a lot of you overthought that problem, or you just didn't realize that how straightforward it is. If you're having problems with the factoring part of it, guys, this section up here, none of the factoring is really all that difficult. And we did review factoring so a little bit, so you should be a little bit stronger with this. All right, so number 13, we have 4x to the 4th minus 65x squared plus 16 equals 0. Okay, there's no common factor that can pull out of all that, so basically, again, you have to figure out how to factor it. Well, this one's a little bit tougher. This one you do have to think. But what is 16 times 4, guys? That's 64. So if I have 4x squared and I multiply it by 16 over here, that's going to give me 64, and I want negative, so this is going to be a 1, and this is going to be x squared. So this is going to be negative, and this is going to be negative. Okay, I understand if you had some difficulty with this one, but it's still pretty straightforward. And then we just keep going. We have 4x squared minus 1 equals 0. We have x squared minus 16 is equal to 0. So that gives us 4x squared equal to 1 and x squared equal to 16. Well, this one's straightforward. X is equal to plus or minus 4. Some of you got down to this part, x squared is equal to 1/4, and then you told me the answer was 1/4. Guys, you got to take the square root. So x equals plus or minus the square root of 1/4, and you need to recognize that 1 and 4 are perfect squares. That's just 1/2, guys. So your 4 answers here are plus or minus 1/2 and plus or minus 4. A lot of you told me that, it's the square root of 1 over the square root of 4, and I'm like, so finish it. So the biggest problem that most of you had was just finishing this problem. All right, 2 more. The next one that you had, and I think most of you missed this because you just didn't understand exactly what it was asking you to do. You had y equals x to the fourth minus 10x squared plus 9. And I even said in the directions, substitute 0 for y and solve. Okay, if I substitute 0 for y, I get 0 equals x to the fourth minus 10x squared plus 9. I'm a little disappointed in the number of you that didn't do that because I told you to. But anyway, factor this. The only way I'm going to get 10 is by using 9 and 1. So I got 9 and 1. Got x to the fourth, or I'm sorry, x squared and x squared. Okay, and this is going to be a negative and a negative. And then the rest is just straightforward. X squared minus 9 equals 0. X squared minus 1 equals 0. So I get x squared equals 9. X squared equals 1. And I get x equals plus or minus 3. And x equals plus or minus 1. Some of you couldn't tell me that square root of 1 is 1. It's a little scary. All right, one last problem, guys. For this one, you had y equals x to the fourth minus 29x squared plus 100. Again, I told you to put in 0 for y. So you get 0 equals x to the fourth minus 29x squared plus 100. Okay, again, some of you have some weak factoring skills, I understand, but if you want a review of factoring, send me a note, and I'll see if I can do like a little video for you guys as far as a review of factoring, but we already did review it a little bit. Oops, I guess it would help if I wasn't erasing. All right, so 129, well that's 4 and 25, guys. Both are going to be negative, so I get 0 equals, so I get x squared minus 4 equals 0, x squared minus 25 equals 0, x squared equals 4, x equals plus or minus 2, x squared equals 25, x equals plus or minus 5. Guys, those are the ones that, less than 70% were scored on. It's very straightforward. I think that you're just making silly mistakes. Make sure you look at this, look it over, because, like I said, you are going to be having a quiz early next week. All right, have a great day, guys.